Y'all, great weather today in South Louisiana. The sun is out. It is, I think, around the 50s, and it is a beautiful day for a closing. So, the great thing about this closing is these people, this couple, is buying a brand new home in a new subdivision in Acadia Parish. So a new home is always, the good thing about a new home is it comes with warranties, lots and lots of warranties. This particular subdivision, the owners of the subdivision finance the clients if they qualify. So these clients received a very, very low interest rate in comparison to the average interest rates that are on the market right now. So that's a plus. Let's talk about closing though, and let's talk about the contract. Lots of people don't know this. Number one misconception is this: lots of people believe that in order to buy a house you need 20% down. That is absolutely the furthest thing from the truth. In fact, lots of people that I have sold houses to in the last 5.5 years have put 0% down. There's a handful of people who are not first-time home buyers, so they qualify for a conventional loan. So that's anywhere between 3 and 5% down of the sale price. And so when I say that, think about this, for example. If the sale price of the house is $200,000 and you have to put down 3%, that's $6,000. If you have to put down 5%, that's $10,000. I think the number gross is around $120,000 that you make per year. If you gross less than around 120, I always forget if it's 128 or 118, that's the gross, but it's around that number. So if you make less than that, which is the majority of people, if you make less than that, you qualify for 100% financing if your credit is decent. Obstacles having to do with closing. I talked to a real estate agent the other day, and we were just talking about different things, and he said to me that he's always looking for new clients and new deals, because he closes about 50% of his deals that go into contract, and that absolutely baffled my mind. Listen, I close about 99.5% of deals that go under contract, because I think a lot of it is because in the last 5.5 years, I've closed probably close to 450 transactions. Just about anything that could go wrong in a deal, I have probably encountered. So I'm very, very much proactive and heading off issues and potential problems that could come along before they ever happen. Another great thing is that I am very good friends with the vast majority of real estate agents in my community. I work well with others, I play well with others, I get along well with others. The old school belief amongst a lot of realtors was that the other side is the enemy. Y'all, that is absolutely the furthest thing from the truth. It takes 2 sets of clients to close a deal, and that means that the buyers and the sellers have to get along. And so making sure that the realtors get along goes a very long way in heading off lots of potential problems and lots of drama that can occur. And I hear lots of people with just lots of drama. I'm absolutely never about the drama. There's no need for drama. Today's closing, and it should be the happiest day of clients' lives. It should be the most exciting time for buyers and sellers. So what are some things that could go wrong during closing, and who basically has the upper hand? So you type up a contract, let's say on a house that's $200,000. You offer them $175, they come back at $185, you're under contract, okay? Part of your contract as the buyer means that you have what's called your due diligence and inspection period. Generally, that's anywhere between 7 and 14 days. It means that you as the buyer have the right to have that home that you're under contract with inspected by anyone you choose. That can be a licensed inspector, that can be your grandpa, that can be a carpenter, that can be you, that can be anyone that you choose to, and you can have it inspected by anyone. And during that due diligence period, that inspection period, you as the buyer have the right to cancel the contract for any reason or no reason at all, and get your deposit back if you submitted a deposit. If you didn't submit a deposit, it's like you were never under contract. You absolutely, as the buyer, have the upper hand, because once it's under contract, unless you breach the contract in any way. Let's say, for example, part of the contract is the financing. Part of the contract is how you're going to pay for the house. And part of the contract says you have X amount of days to prove to the seller that you have gotten official pre-approval financing from the bank. Okay, now most of the time when you submit an offer, the other agent is going to require you to have a pre-approval letter or proof of funds if you're paying cash before they ever even accept your offer. And when I have things listed, if somebody wants to submit an offer and they cannot prove that they can legitimately get financing or that they have the cash, we're not accepting an offer. And I will say to the seller, my advice is, do not accept an offer from this person until they can prove that they can buy it. Why? Because there are lots of people out there that believe that they can get financing, believe that they have the money, and don't. And there are just some people that are dishonest. Every once in a while, I get a call from people that wanting to submit an offer on a house, and they say, well, I don't have the money yet, but I'm waiting on a lawsuit to settle. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but out of all the 50 states in the United States, Louisiana is the most sue-friendly. We are the most litigious state in all 50 states, which is pretty sad. So people are looking for a reason to sue. They're waiting on these settlements to come through. And I get that call quite often, actually, where people say, I'm waiting on this settlement money to come through. I want to buy this house. Well, guess what? Until the money is in your bank, you don't have the money. And I'm not submitting an offer for anyone who's waiting on a lawsuit. Once the money hits your bank, that's a totally different ball game. And at that point, when you can prove that you have the money, then I'll submit an offer for you. All right, so back to the contract. After you're through your due diligence period, you cannot cancel the contract as the buyer. Once your due diligence period is over, you cannot cancel the contract. And just the other day, I was representing the buyer and the seller on a house that was for sale. And about 3 days before the closing, the buyer called me up and said, well, no, I called her actually. I called her up and said, hey, listen, so we're closing in a couple of days. Would you like to do a final walkthrough of the house? You have the right as the buyer, a couple of days before closing, to do a final walkthrough before the closing and to make sure that all the repairs were done that you asked for during inspections and that the house is in the same or better condition than it was the very first time you walked through it. And so lots of times, you know, when people are moving out of a house, they might damage something on accident. It's the seller's job to fix it. If they don't fix it and you get there and let's say they were moving a couch out of the living room and for some reason they gashed a hole in the sheetrock, you as the buyer have the right to cancel the contract unless they fix it before closing, okay? So this client of mine a couple of months ago said 3 days before closing we're getting ready to do our final walkthrough. I said, what day is a good time for you? Let's schedule your final walkthrough to check out the house before closing. She says to me, I changed my mind. I'm not buying the house. Well, 3 days before closing, your due diligence is over, your appraisal has come through, it's time for closing, everything is processed. You as the buyer at that point cannot say, I'm not closing on the house. You absolutely cannot do that. If you do, the seller has the right to sue you and force you to pay a percentage of that house or force you to buy it, okay? And so at that point you cannot. So thankfully I deal with lots and lots of great closing attorneys, and I called up the closing attorney that was handling the closing and said, listen, this is the deal. I need you to call this person and have a nice little conversation with her and explain to her what can happen if she cancels the contract 3 days before closing. Needless to say, she very quickly changed her mind and bought the house. Listen, so you have to know as a buyer and a seller that you have a real estate agent on your side who closes lots of transactions that go into contract. And I would say to your realtor, if you're shopping for a real estate agent, what percentage of deals that you put under contract do you close? What's the percentage? And I would say if that number is less than 90%, look for a different realtor, because good realtors close deals. Good realtors head off issues before they happen. Good realtors are proactive and know what kinds of issues to look for before they ever arise and head them off, because they have a good knowledge of the kinds of things that happen along the way. Listen, a monkey can get something under contract. A monkey can type up an offer, but it takes a very knowledgeable real estate agent who knows what they're doing to head off issues, to fix issues, and to make sure that the contract gets all the way to the closing table without drama, without issues, without problems that can't be resolved. For every single issue, and there will be plenty, there are plenty in every single deal that I close, there will be a solution. But you have to have two things: a good real estate agent on your side that knows exactly what they're doing and what to look for, and one that has a great relationship with the other realtors in the neighborhood and in the community, that they want to work together to make sure that this gets to the closing table. I've heard horror stories about the drama that goes on with people between the time that it goes under contract and the time that it closes. And it's almost as though some people just like drama, which is just insane to me. Listen, this is, to me, my business. It's my career. It's a professional opportunity to do great for people, to do great for buyers, and to do great for sellers. And my job is to get the deal to the closing table. So today's closing for a great, great couple that's buying a brand spanking new house in a neighborhood in Crowley. It's a great neighborhood. The interest rates in that neighborhood are amazing because the builders of that community are financing the buyers. So there are no banks around. There are no mortgage lenders around that can beat the rates in these newer neighborhoods. So if your budget is around, let's say you're qualified right now for a VA loan, an RD loan, an FHA loan, or even a conventional loan, and your budget is around 160, I guarantee you that you can probably buy a brand new house in one of those new neighborhoods for over $200,000. They're usually somewhere between 190 and they're usually around 199 to about 225-ish. For that money, because the rates are so much lower, you could buy more of a house, a brand new house in a neighborhood, than a cheaper house that has all kinds of issues. So if you are currently qualified for anywhere, I would say between, I don't know, maybe even as low as 150. If you are qualified for around 150 to anywhere over that, and you're looking at houses and you see what's on the market in that price range, yo, it's terrible. What's on the market for around 150 to 185 is a lot of crap. Or it's in neighborhoods that you wouldn't want to live in because they're not safe, or they're just very, very old and they're not kept up. So if you are qualified for a low budget and you're having a hard time finding a house, give me a call, because I promise you there's probably a 95% chance that you could buy a brand new home in a brand new subdivision priced around $200,000 for the same as you would for one of those used houses with all these issues. Okay? So it's closing day. It's a great day. It's always a great day to have a closing. But there are lots and lots and lots of things that could have gone wrong along the way. Absolutely. You need a real estate agent on your side that closes lots of deals and that is good at heading off issues before they arise. And then when they arise, figuring out a solution, because there's always a solution to every single problem. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy this weather. And remember this, if you have questions, just ask them. It's the only way you're going to know. There are no stupid questions when it comes to buying and selling. I don't care if you've sold 10 houses. There are always questions that need to be answered along the way. So team up with an amazing real estate agent that's known for closing lots and lots and lots of deals, and that is friendly with the community and with other agents and with other lenders, because it's a team. It is absolutely a team effort. You do not want someone that likes drama or that always has some kind of issue with somebody, because I guarantee you if they do in real life, they will have issues and drama with your transaction. And you do not want that. You want somebody that's professional, that's firm, that's consistent, and that knows how to deal with problems, because I guarantee you there's going to be a problem. Y'all have a great day.